Eight. Well, we are here to discuss about Bangladesh versus India first test, second day, and definitely that day has been dominated by India. As we know, the day two report, India ने 404 रन बनाए 10 विकेट के नुकसान पे. उसके बाद में वहां पर चेतेश्वर पुजारा को we can see he scored 90, he missed a century though. So इस श्रेयस अय्यर 86 रन उन्होंने बनाए. मेहंदी हसन ने 4 विकेट लिए और ताइजुल इस्लाम 4 विकेट लिए. आफ्टरवर्ड्स बांग्लादेश की टीम बैटिंग के लिए आई. उन्होंने फिलहाल इस दिन में अभी 133 रन बनाए 8 विकेट के नुकसान पे, जहां मुशफिकुर रहीम ने 28, लिटन दास ने 24, कुलदीप यादव ने 4 और मोहम्मद सिराज ने 3 विकेट लिए. फिलहाल बांग्लादेश अभी 271 रन से ट्रेल कर रही है. तो यहाँ मेरा सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन गौरी से ये है, गौरी आज का दिन जब शुरू हुआ, आफ्टरवर्ड्स वी ऑल नो कि जब इंडिया बॉलिंग के लिए आई, द वेरी फर्स्ट बॉल आई एम गोना आस्क कि आफ्टरवर्ड जैसे सिराज ने शुरुआत करी और पहला विकेट लिया, व्हाट अ ब्यूटी इट वाज फॉर लाइक टू सी. इट वाज क्वाइट अ ट्रीट टू सी लाइक सिराज जैसे बॉलिंग कर रहे थे आज.
I mean, definitely the way the second test match, the first test match started on the day one. तो I think जब बांग्लादेश ने स्टार्ट किया था तो वो डे वन पे लगा था हमारा टॉप ऑर्डर जैसे हमने लूज किया था, द मिडिल ऑर्डर दैट वी वर लूजिंग, इट लुक लाइक इट्स गोना बी अ वीक टेस्ट फॉर इंडिया. बट उसके बाद जैसे कम बैक किया पुजारा ने, श्रेयस अय्यर ने, दो दे मिस्ड ऑन देयर सेंचुरी बट द इम्पैक्ट दे मेड वाज वेरी वेरी इम्पैक्टफुल. सो आई थिंक दैट वाज अ ग्रेट वन. और उसके बाद जब डे सेकंड स्टार्ट हुआ तो आई थिंक द इंडियन फैंस वर लुकिंग फॉर श्रेयस अय्यर सेंचुरी, बट दैट कुडंट हैपन. बट अगेन व्हेन द इंडियन bowlers came back and started their work, it was great to see. I mean, Siraj, how he has improved or how he has soared up in the test cricket, it's definitely a beauty to see. I mean, the chances that he has been given, he has performed on each and every occasion. So I think his rise and his performance day by day in every test series is a great thing to watch on.
राइट. एंड विघ्नेश, जिस तरह का आज ये दिन गया बांग्लादेश और इंडिया के बीच में, क्या इसको देख के ऐसा कह सकते हैं कि नाउ द टेस्ट इज अंडर कंट्रोल ऑफ द विजिटर्स?
Yeah, it was always under control after the partnership between Cheteshwar Pujar and Shreyas Iyer. I know India went through a few bumps after that first hour of play where KL Rahul inside edged one, and as well as it was a touch and go decision of Virat Kohli. After the once Shreyas Iyer and Cheteshwar Pujar slotted in, they just it is all go. It was of that sort where Shreyas Iyer was given a few chances from the Bangladesh fielders, but again he unfortunately couldn't capitalize to make 100. But again Pujara, Shreyas Iyer, and after that and once again today with that partnership from Kuldeep Yadav and Ashwin just set up a platform for a 400 plus star first innings score for India. And again once coming into the bowlers, I think Kuldeep Yadav spell that for almost 4 wickets in the 6 overs spell. I think any left arm spinner or left arm wrist spinner will be proud of. So I think he was sensational today with the. He was giving that extra air. He was getting it to grip of the surface. I think it was such a beautiful watch.
Right, and even as we were discussing about Pujara, he missed out on a century and he's yet to score a century from 2019. But after the match of the very first day, he said every ball was not turning and that is more dangerous situation. It was a nice challenge to have. You can't relax on this pitch, and at the same time, the loose ball had to be punished because you can't bat time. But as a viewer, I can say, since it is as we know about pitch report, that it is going to be a batting friendly pitch, but still it was difficult to play. Though as a viewer, we couldn't understand it, but it was difficult, Gauri.
Yeah, of course. I mean, how the day India it started for India. I mean, Taijul Islam was wreaking havoc. We lost three, main batters so quickly. Virat went off, KL Rahul went off. We were not expecting this kind of show. But Cheteshwar Pujara came in. He steadied the ship for India. I mean, he made a very vital partnership also. So I think that was the thing that was required at the moment. He might not have got reached to the three-figure mark, and he also said that in his, post match that it's not always about the three-figure mark. It's always about the impact that you make. So I mean, definitely the ball was not, very easy for the batters to take on, but still he was there. I mean, he's also coming after a rough patch in the international cricket because he was not able to score his usual runs. But once he went to the county cricket, he scored. He did a great job, and I think from there he has boosted his confidence to play and come back and make such an impactful performance like this. So I think that is being reflected in his performance very well.
Even Vignesh, if we talk about Shreyas here as well, like we all were expecting him to score a century, but he couldn't do it because sometimes when your innings go to the second day and your flow gets breaks, so sometimes you can't continue the way you were playing the last day.
No, again, as Pujara told, not every ball was turning, and it was very difficult pitch to bat on, so sometimes when every ball turns, or if it was a rank turner, you play for the spin or you play for the straight ball. So if not every ball turns, so you just don't know if the ball is going to turn or come on straight with the arm. So I think that was a very valid point Pujara made. And also coming to Shreyas Iyer's innings. So once you bat it around, if you're not out at the end of one day's play, so you just take. I know it sometimes is that, the break in momentum or the break in shift, but again, it's as international cricketers, I don't think that could be a reason where you come in, you just take your time on the second day's play, you just adapt to the conditions, you adapt to the pitch on the second day and how it's moving. And sometimes with the moisture in the first hour of every day's play, I think you just take your time, adapt to the situation, and then move forward. I don't think that is a reason for Shreyas Iyer not to get to the figure mark. He got his chances, he got his lives, but again, he just did not capitalize.
Right, and even that happened with Virat Kohli because he got out and just one run, and after that, like whenever the day ended, people were talking about Virat Kohli like anything on Twitter. They all were brutally trolling him that he couldn't continue the way he used to, and we all know that he has scored a century in ODI and T20I, but he is yet to just simply basically tell people like how he's been going through, and but somehow he has managed to come back in test, and now he is trying to score runs, but he couldn't do it this time as well. But people are trolling him on social media. Do he deserve that, like the people questioning him over his test form? And the same year he has already proved that he has already scored a century in ODI and T20Is. Gauri?
I mean, definitely. I mean, after 2019, he was in a very rough patch. I will like almost for 3 years. Then he made a comeback in the Asia Cup. Then he got ODI century as well in the last week against Bangladesh. But the thing is that he is yet to. I mean, Virat Kohli is someone who has already set the benchmark so high that whenever he performs less than that, he is being questioned upon. So I think Test cricket is definitely his one area. He has also admitted in the past that Test cricket is his most loved form. So this is where he would like to contribute, he would like to prove. But the thing with Virat Kohli, he is not someone who has to yet prove. I mean, whenever he'll score runs, fans will welcome that, fans will love to see that, but he has got nothing to prove at this point of time. He has already made a mark for himself. Whatever he does will be always welcomed by fans. But the thing that we got to see for Kohli is his dedication always. I mean, the dedication, the passion he brings to the field. I mean, yesterday also when he, got out for just one run, he was seeing, practice it out in the nets in the tea break. He was there against the spin of Saurabh Kumar because he was practicing against the left arm spinner, basically where he was struggled. So I mean, this is the thing. This is the beauty about Virat Kohli, the dedication, the passion that he brings on the table for fans and for others to see. I mean, that is something that we should definitely appreciate.
Right, and even for Virat Kohli, Taijul also said that he has picked Virat Kohli before as well, and it's not a highlight of his career if he took that wicket. But that camaraderie between India and Bangladesh players, and also that rivalry between these two teams is exceptional. And there is another great moment. Let me tell all the viewers as well. Like the great moment happened between the bowling coach of Bangladesh and the batting coach of and the head coach of India, Rahul Dravid. Anand Donald said sorry to Rahul Dravid for one incident because he sledged him during India South Africa in 19 ODI in 1997, and afterwards he said sorry for that incident because Rahul Dravid and Sachin Tendulkar were like hitting him all over the park. Afterwards he sledged him to get his wicket, and he got that wicket. Afterwards, during the series only, he said sorry, and that video somehow went on to like Rahul Dravid got that video, and he offered him to have a lunch or go for a dinner, and afterwards then we can sort this out. Like he really wants to apologize for this. Afterwards, I am thinking, imagine if they go on a dinner mid-series, mid-test series, and let's say whatever the conversation they are going to have, will they end up being friends? Because this is already very competitive right now. If we talk about India and Bangladesh, Gauri, what do you think? Like if they go for a dinner, what they'll end up being, as friends or enemies again?
I mean, they are already in the post, post. They are not playing right now. I mean, they are already with the coaching duties and everything, so they are not on the field. So it's no point keeping those hard feelings beside the field. That is what I feel. I mean, if you keep the those hard feelings beside the field also and off the field also, for something that has happened already long back, for something that has been maybe fainted in the memories of the fans as well. So I think if you keep up a fresh thing or make it a fresh relationship, I think that's going to be good and also reflected in your coaching perspective as well. When you keep those hard feelings and make move forward with them, I think that's not reflected very well when you go on with your duties. So I think it should be all well between those two.
Well, that was a great gesture from Alan Donald towards Rahul Dravid. But Vignesh, since I'm thinking like maybe they might be if they go for a dinner, they might be saying sorry to each other once again for whatever they have said during the dinner. But what do you think? What are they going to end up with? Like after the dinner, what are the discussions will be on?
No, it's all fun, banter, and games. They're end of the day, they're gentlemen, they're professionals of the game. I think whatever is on the field, I think it's not going to be taken outside the field. So it's all good between them. And I think end of the day, they're internal cricketers, they're former cricketers, and they're professionals. So I think it's going to be all good between them. Yes, there are banters aside. Keeping banters aside, I think it's all good.
Being a cricketer, you might also know that there are some banters, but that doesn't go off the field because whatever you're doing, that is completely with the match only, not on the off field. You all are friends afterwards. So let's
Yes.
get back to the match and let's discuss about Mehndi Hassan. You know what? Whenever I think about this batter, this player, so I think like give him a bat, he'll score a century. Give him a ball, he'll take some wickets. So definitely he's that type of person. Mehndi Hassan doesn't really stop himself from telling people like what he actually deserves in this format of cricket. But Gauri, I'll ask you this: if we talk about Mehndi Hassan here, he has proved him already in ODI series against India, and
True.
now there comes the Test series. So how do you see him? Like, is he going to be a big threat for India?
I think definitely. I mean, the way he's moving up, the way he's going up, I think he has already proved in the ODI series. Coming down the order, he scored vital runs when he was given a chance. Now he has in the first innings he has taken those crucial wickets. So I mean, the way he's proving, his all-round performance and making a big impact against a team like India. So whenever you are, proving your credentials against the big giants or the heavyweights of the cricket, you are always, very high on confidence. If and these kind of performances, be it with bat, be it with ball, will always going to come handy when it comes to your confidence. So once you are confident, you are going to just seize the day. So I think it's going to be if he goes and it continues this way and India doesn't stop him in either of the department, he can be the threat for India.
Right, and now I'm having one comment from the fan, and this question is for you, Vignesh. He's asking Chaitanya Natraj, please talk about the effect of wrist spinners compared to finger spinners on this pitch.
So again, wrist spinners, in my opinion, always wicket takers. So if you could, and again, so finger spinners basically they can hold one end, they can create the pressure. And Ashwin, yes, regardless of the 400, with all respect to him, with all due respect, I think wrist spinners, I think are a more of a wicket taking option in any of the tracks around the globe. So I would say, and with the consistent lines, the drift, the air Kuldeep Yadav gave in those specific 6 overs, I think it was very crucial, and it was so it was like if one comes you get two, if you get two you get three. So that's what it comes. So wrist spinners over finger spinners are definitely a wicketing option to me.
Right, and Gauri, what are your thoughts on this wrist spinners versus finger spinners on this pitch?
Definitely. I mean, we have already seen in this match that wrist spinners have created, impact. So I think spinners are always the specialist. I mean, both are in their favor also, but they are kind of a specialist who can create impact in the match, like we have seen in this match as well. I mean, for Kuldeep Yadav, he comes with a wrist spin option and also the left arm option. So I think that is the something that is the biggest variation that we get to see in the match. So when that variation comes in, so it is going to make an impact in the match.
Right, and as you were talking about Ashwin, we can definitely talk about the way he has batted, but that also give us this hint that India might be lacking some person who can take the responsibility lower down the order because if Ashwin has scored, and this day we have also seen Umesh hitting some two sixes, and Kuldeep Yadav also did some runs, but that was something which we can say like by chance we have got it. But do we have someone other than Ashwin to really take that responsibility lower the order, Vignesh?
I don't think we have to be looking. We have to look at some runs, or yes, tail ender runs are crucial sometimes when you play away from the subcontinent, that are the Sena nations. But again, if you're like expecting runs below Ashwin, I think it's a very bad sight for Indian cricket. So with the top order. And the middle order with the likes of Kohli, Pujara, and Shreyas Iyer also getting in some runs. I don't think you have to look for runs like below Ashwin or number 7 or 8. Yes. So I think it's not a good sign if you're expecting runs from the tail enders. Yes, tail ender runs are more of a bonus, but if you're expecting runs from I think it's not a you know
Right, and even if we talk about Akshar Patel as well, like he has replaced Jadeja, and in this particular match, if we talk about the batting, then he has scored 14 runs, and for bowling, and he has given 7 overs, but he hasn't taken any wicket. He might be struggling on this pitch, maybe, or is there something else, some problem with Akshar Patel right now, Gauri?
I think Aksar Patel has given a very handy contribution whenever he has. I think in the subcontinent conditions in the on the Indian soil he has been very good. I mean he has taken wickets. He has also scored very crucial runs down the order. But for this very point, I would agree with Vignesh that if you're looking for the runs for after 7 or after 8, there is something very wrong with your top and the middle order. I mean if your middle order and top order has been destroyed, then only you are going to look runs for below 7 or below number 8. I mean, you can always take those runs as bonus, or you can take those runs as extras. You cannot be having the base out of those runs. So base definitely has to be made somewhere in the openers, in the top and the middle order. So I mean, if they score runs, that is fine. That is good. I mean, that should be always considered bonus. But I think the base and the mains, the main framework should be coming from the middle order, and which is becoming very crucial for India these days.
Okay, so with that, let's take a look at the top performers of this particular day. As we know, there are a lot of players who has done really well. Ravichandran Ashwin scored 58 runs in 113 balls, so he's a top performer for us in this particular match. Still, and Kuldeep Yadav has taken 4 wickets, and definitely he's one of the top performers of this day. Next, we have Mohammad Siraj, he took 3 wickets, and as you were talking about his impact and the growth he has, we have seen from him. Vignesh, I'll ask you this question since Mohammad Siraj has been some person whose growth we have seen, like Arshdeep, like he was very new to us, and now we have Siraj. He has really showed us in like he can be some bowling force from for India for all the competitions we are going to have. How do you see this Siraj, and do you see him as a regular pacer for India in Test?
Yeah, definitely in test. The Siraj in the red ball format is not an underrated option in the Indian circuit. I think is a very underrated option. Over the last 4 or 5 years, if anyone would have followed the domestic circuit, I think he's been sensational for Hyderabad. And him with the new ball, as well as after the 35th or the 40th, he could also get the ball to swing with his angle. So his angle goes towards the leg slip or the fine leg, I would say. So he can also reverse swing the ball with this angle, and also with the after the 80th over, he could with the new ball he can strike forces and can get back to back wickets. So I think. But so with the red ball circuit, I think he's been sensational for India, as well as over the last half a decade for in the domestic circuit. And with the confidence and the team management has backed him for that tough period of time in the IPL from the white ball circuit. But the way he's put things right in the red ball format for taking his confidence for, I think he had one good season during that when he was bowling really good for RCB during the death overs. So I think he's just taken that confidence into test cricket, and the day and the fifer in Australia, and then the Lord's game. I think it's all come really good for Mohammad Siraj.
Right, and with that, let's take a look at the social tracker. What people are discussing about this match on social media. So, CricTracker has tweeted Mohammad Siraj invites is a different gravy, definitely. And with that, we can see what Akash Chopra has said. The rise of Siraj is such an enduring story. Give it all, always reaping rich rewards now. And just the way Vignesh was telling about Siraj, we get to see one tweet on him about Akash Chopra. Let's take a look at the next tweet, which is the series of events. Litan Das made a hand gesture to Mohammad Siraj. Next ball, Mohammad Siraj cleaned him up with Jaffa. After that, Virat Kohli and Mohammad Siraj gave a send-off to Litan Das. Definitely, this was one of the moments where you get to see some rivalry between India and Bangladesh, and those moments which makes Test cricket even more interesting. Now, let's take a look at the third tweet. Shikhar Dhawan, after 34 Test, averaged 41. KL Rahul in his 44 Test averages 35 and has been promoted to be Test vice captain and captain. India struggled to find a steady Test match opener since Virendra Sehwag and Gautam Gambhir is real. So, Vignesh, we have seen like after Gautam Gambhir and Virendra Sehwag, people are asking like on social media that it is still difficult for India to find some person who can open for India with a good average.
Okay, so I think the test 44 and 41 tests. I don't think it gives a proper story. So you go to away conditions. KL Rahul averages 34 in England. He averages 49 in the West Indies. Also averages 25 in South Africa. Whereas if you could see Shikhar Dhawan, he averages close to 20 in England. He averages around 35 in the West Indies, and also 18 odd in South Africa. So, and in those countries, I would say KL Rahul has 4 centuries. Yes, Dhawan has got starts, but it's always the starts you convert them into big scores. That is what helps the team. Yes, you could score a proper 30 in tough conditions and probably nick one of the in the 34th over, I would say. But again, those starts where you play good, those gritty knocks, and it's all about the conversion rate. So in those 4 countries, those 3 countries I mentioned, KL Rahul has 4 centuries, whereas Dhawan has 0. So the 41 averages, yes, the numbers normally don't say the whole story. But again, when you go out in Sena conditions, yes, Dhawan has played well in Australia as well as in New Zealand. He has an average of 53 odd, but again, he's played close to, like, 2 games. So yes, numbers gives you a side of story, but again, I feel the criticism KL Rahul is getting is kind of harsh, but again, he's going to provide you the goods. So I think, yeah, the KL Rahul is a fantastic player. He's got class. The captaincy, the vice captaincy is debatable, but again, as a cricketer, as an opener, and that 199 in England, where and that was very unlucky. That Adil Rashid Jaffa, he got him. So, but again, overall, if you see, KL Rahul is a fantastic cricketer. Yes, the criticism he's getting lately could convert, or could, with all the strike rate matter, with all the conservative cricket in the T20 and all the things, can sometimes overpower you as a cricketer. But again, overall, KL Rahul, with the class he has, he's no brainer for the Indian circuit.
Well, that was a great dose of numbers for us. We were not expecting this though, but thank you so much, Vignesh, for telling us those numbers. Thank you, Gauri, for joining me in this conversation. We are done with the session today, but we are going to come back for the day third of India versus Bangladesh first test. Definitely, we're going to discuss a lot about the match. You just keep up your spirit, keep watching CricTracker and In the Air show. Thank you so much for joining me, all the people, and Gauri and Vignesh especially.